Alright, Geordie Prepper here. Welcome to a Prepper Network News video. Today is Friday the 22nd of March 2024. We've got a lot to go over, so let's get cracking. Before we get to the news, just a short channel update and a Prepper campaign reminder. It's Check Your Preps month. At the minute I'm focusing on my number one prep, which is my physical fitness. And then also at the minute I'm enhancing my digital preps and getting ready to create my own Prepper phone. Something I've always wanted since seeing the Urban Prepper's videos on his Prepper phones. I'll leave a link to his video in the description and there'll be a pop-up on screen now so that you can see it. And apologies if you watch me via BitChute about the videos repeating themselves. BitChute's pulling them from YouTube, but it varies on the time it takes to do this. So I always upload the video I create to BitChute, just as I do to other platforms. But I can't seem to turn off BitChute pulling the videos from YouTube. So the first video that you see on the site is what I've uploaded, and then a few hours or days later it'll pull the video from YouTube. It just activated it by itself for some reason. I'm trying to get it sorted, but it's just a reminder that if you're watching me on other platforms like Brighteon, BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, I only upload to these and have a presence on these platforms as a backup to YouTube. So please come over to YouTube, subscribe and comment and interact over here, because YouTube is the best place for the interaction with me and other people. It's obviously not the most ideal platform to be posting on, but at the minute, it's pretty much the best that we've got right now. And it's where I'm going to be until they cancel me, basically. I've also, as part of my prepping, been expanding my music collection. I've been doing this from a new site that I've been frequenting, which is hdtracks.com. So if you like FLAC, high quality audio, go check that site out. I'm not affiliated with them or anything. I just like the selection of tracks and music that they have on this site. It's really quite extensive. I got a ton of Radiohead tracks for about 10 quid the other day. It was great. Plus they've got a free sample which you can download, and it's just on the front page here, 2024 high-res sampler. So you can download that for free, just to get an idea of what they do and the quality. I truly believe music, both the listening and the creation of it, after shtf, is going to play a major factor in many people's mental health and ultimate survival. So imagine that, you know, it's 2030, 6 years after shtf, you haven't heard a single tune, and then you come across somebody who's got a really nice music selection, and it's a very high quality selection of music. I mean, the amount that it's just going to uplift you by, I mean, is just going to, you know, the joy of hearing a varied and high quality music selection would just be amazing to many people after years of, you know, practically silence from music. So the news videos will be also rather random at the minute, because my schedule off YouTube is a little bit varied at the minute, but I'll still aim to do at least 2 or 3 videos per week. They just won't be as consistent as every Monday, Wednesday, Friday that they've been for the last 3 or 4 months. So getting towards the end of this little rant before we get to the news, but if you haven't already, subscribe to me on YouTube, and, you know, on each video, if you just comment, either, you know, like, dislike the video based on its merit to you. If you do put a thumb down, the minimum I ask is that you at least voice some critical feedback to me. You can do it in the comment section if you want, or you can email me. My email's on screen now, just so that I can improve the videos and, you know, learn, because, you know, it's a continuous learning process, this being on YouTube, and it helps when I get feedback, because it really does help for me to improve the videos. And if you want to support the channel directly, then whilst you're prepping, and it's for free, then the best way to help me to help you is to like and subscribe to the channel and just watch the videos. After that, the next best thing you can do is replace your amazon.co.uk bookmark link with my affiliate link. That's on screen now and in the description. I'll get a kickback from anything that you purchase, and it really just helps me to get prepared myself. All these things take very little time. It helps me out a bunch, helps me prepared, and if enough people do it, I'll be able to help my community by doing giveaways, based on the kickbacks that I've gotten. I'll also be able to do reviews based on gear that I get and that I have faith in. I won't show junk on my channel. It's all just stuff that I believe in, which will bring more varied content as well for you guys. Want to support the channel direct? Then there are links in the description. The best place to do it by is with Buy Me a Coffee. And as ever, your support is always very, very much appreciated. So with that all being said, let's get to the news. There is a lot going on right now. There's chapters are marked in the description, and you should see them along the bottom of the video player as well. You can just go to the time index in the description or just click on the video on the sections. And if you ever just want to skip to something which I'm covering that interests you or is the most relevant to you. So with that all being said, thanks for watching so far. Let's get to the news. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is traveling to Israel. He always seems to be on the move, this kid. He's there to negotiate a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas as the UN Security Council prepares to vote on a US resolution for an immediate truce. The US opposes Israel's plan for a ground offensive in Rafah near Gaza and aims to secure the release of hostages held by Hamas. Blinken's visit follows talks in Egypt focused on ceasefire efforts and humanitarian aid delivery to Gaza. Negotiators are working on bridging gaps between Hamas, which seeks a comprehensive deal, and Israel, which prefers a temporary pause. Remember, Israel is basically committed to ending this threat once and for all. And, anything other than that is probably not going to be entertained with them. The conflict has led to casualties and challenges in delivering aid to the affected population. Remember, we've got this new port that's being constructed. They were delivering supplies to build it. This is being constructed to help deliver aid, and there's been deliveries by air as well, although that's resulted in some deaths due to failure of the parachute systems. So I think delivering by land and sea would be a preferred option, and it also enables the highest volume of aid to be delivered. In addition to negotiating a ceasefire and securing humanitarian aid, Blinken's visit is seen as showing the US efforts to address the complex dynamics between Israel, Hamas, and other stakeholders in the region. The focus on Rafah highlights the strategic importance of the area in conflict resolution process and the challenges in balancing security concerns with humanitarian imperatives. The international community's involvement, including the UN Secretary Council deliberations and the United States' diplomatic initiatives. Next, we're looking at spokesperson for Vladimir Putin, Dmitry Peskov. He's declared on Friday that Russia's invasion of Ukraine has escalated into a full-fledged war due to Western involvement. I mean, all of us who are awake know it's been a war for quite a long time now, but the fact that they're beginning to openly state it is going to rattle many people, mostly those that are unprepared. Initially termed a special military operation, Peskov emphasized that the conflict has evolved into a war with the West's backing of Ukraine. He urged everybody to recognize this reality for internal unity, despite Russia's attempt to label it as a special military operation. Peskov's acknowledgement reflects a shift in the conflict's narrative. Moreover, Russia's wartime censorship laws impose severe penalties for referring to the conflict as a war, highlighting the government's control over public discourse regarding the invasion. So is he going to get in trouble for calling it a war? Who knows? Probably not, but either side is obviously very keen to not call it a war, because as soon as they do, special interests on both sides are going to lose their funding. They're getting very, very rich off this conflict. And then each of the sides has to back up the threats that they make to the other sides, which threatens to take us to the nuclear option. And Russia's launched a very significant assault on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, targeting power plants and supply lines overnight. The attack caused widespread power outages in several cities and damaged the Dnipro hydropower plant, Ukraine's largest dam. So here we can see Dnipro, and this is the dam. It's got quite a distinctive curve to it, and its location, if we just zoom out from the map here, basically this river is just acting like a front And, Russia's pushing all the way up to here. And I think basically what they're doing is they're just going to be pushing up the river. And then essentially, they get one side and Ukraine gets the other. So, but it's obviously still very significant that they've attacked this power plant, this hydropower plant. Ukraine President Zelensky reported that there was over 60 drones and nearly 90 missiles fired by Russia, resulting in blackout conditions in various regions. Zelensky used the assault to appeal for more military aid from allies. And again, he's criticising delays in support. Nothing new there. EU leaders discussed financing weapons for Ukraine while a $60 billion military aid bill in US Congress faced political gridlock. The attack marked the second major assault on Ukraine after a period of relative calm, coinciding with diplomatic efforts and a request from Washington to halt drone strikes on Russian oil refineries. Ukraine's energy infrastructure, including the Dnipro plant, remains under threat, with concerns of ecological disaster amid continued hostilities. Construction has commenced on Europe's largest NATO military base in southeast Romania, expanding the 57th Air Base at Mihai Cogolniceanu Airport. I completely butchered that. But anyways, the airport is... Let's have a look here. It's somewhere down here. Here it is. So it's this airport and everything, this facility is going to be expanded upon, and it has an important role in operations in the Black Sea here. So they're hoping to expand this base. The expansive project is said to be completed by 2030. Commander Nikolai Kridu outlined plans for maintenance, hangars, fuel stores, accommodations, essential facilities to support up to 10,000 troops and their families. So what you're talking about here, like 15,000, maybe more personnel and their immediate families. I mean, that's not a small base. The base serves NATO policing activities in the Black Sea region, countering potential Russian threats. Russian officials, including Senator Andrei Klimov, expressed concerns, labelling the base a threat to Bucharest and warning of potential consequences. NATO's surveillance of Romania's eastern flank persists, with airborne patrols monitoring Russian military movements. I mean, it seems a bit optimistic to say that they're undertaking this project and that they want to get it completed by 2030, given all the things that's happening at the minute. But yeah, good luck with completing that. Next, we're looking at President Putin. He's cautioned the West on Monday, warning that a direct conflict between Russia and NATO could lead to World War III, a scenario that hardly anyone desires. The ongoing Ukraine war has strained Moscow's relations with the West significantly, reminiscent of the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. However, as we all know, the threat now is just far, far greater than during that past crisis. Since the Russian election, which Putin won, these language has just gotten much, much stronger. I mean, he's obviously got quite a strong vocal presence, when he's talking about things. He has quite a tough talk about it, but he's been really dialing it back before the elections. But now, since he's won it, and he's got 6 years now extra as the president, the strong language is really coming out. And, he's basically threatening, mess with us and you're going to find out what's going to happen. Putin's emphasized the risks of nuclear war, but asserted that Russia hasn't considered using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. He addressed French President Macron's remarks regarding potential ground troop deployment in Ukraine, stating that such actions could escalate tensions dangerously. Putin also hinted at the possibility of creating a buffer zone or a security zone in Ukrainian territory to safeguard Russia's borders if attacks persist. Despite criticism of Russia's recent election, Putin defended it, criticizing the US electoral process and rejecting accusations regarding the fate of the opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Yeah, the West has absolutely zero right to criticize any elections, including Russian elections. Next, Moldova's foreign ministry has lodged protests against Moscow's opening of polling stations in Transnistria, pro-Russian enclave, despite Moldova's objections. In response, Moldova's pro-European government announced punitive measures, including barring a Russian delegation from a UN meeting in May. President Maya Sandu criticized Russia's move, citing it as a violation of Moldova's sovereignty. Moscow in turn denounced Moldova's actions as part of an anti-Russian campaign. Tensions have escalated between the two countries since Russia's special military operation started in 2022. Moldova's government has taken steps to reduce diplomatic ties with Russia, expressing condemnation for its actions. And, Transnistria, that's definitely a place where flashpoint events can happen and conflict. And I think Transnistria, as well as Belarus, is definitely going to play a major part in either the beginnings of conflict, like open kinetic conflict, or they're going to very quickly enter into a kinetic conflict once it starts. Right, guys, we're 2/3 of the way through. Let's keep going. US Marine Corps F-35 fighters have made history by landing in Sweden for Exercise Nordic Response 24, marking the first time an American F-35 has landed in the country. The event showcased operations, allowing Marine Corps aircraft to use Swedish facilities for ground refueling. This exercise, conducted as Sweden becomes a NATO member, emphasizes interoperability and cooperation. Distributed aviation operations challenge adversary targeting by dispersing aviation assets, a strategy echoed in Sweden's dispersed operations doctrine. So I think the Swedish have a very dispersed kind of mentality anyways. They have things distributed quite far away, and makes it a lot harder for an enemy to decapitate, take the head off the snake, because everything's so distributed. While the F-35Bs didn't utilize Swedish roads this time, the exercise strengthens both countries' air capabilities and collaboration. Of course, they have conducted drills with F-35s elsewhere, using roads, because they expect that when the war starts, they're going to lose these ground assets like airports and military bases with airstrips, and they'll have to operate the F-35s on a mobile or distributed basis. So sticking with F-35 news, the US Department of Defense has greenlit full-rate production for the F-35 fighter jet following the delivery of 990 units. Damn, that's a lot of F-35s. And remember, guys, these are nuclear missile capable. This decision, approved by Under Secretary of Defense William LaPlante, after meeting with the Defense Acquisition Board, signals confidence in the aircraft's stability and agility. Approximately 15% of the F-35 components are manufactured in the UK. LaPlante hailed this milestone as a major achievement, emphasising the F-35's role in driving interoperability with allies and partners. With full-rate production approved, the programme is poised to efficiently deliver the next generation of aircraft to meet evolving needs. The F-35 offers multi-mission capability and brings stealth, sensor fusion, and interoperability to enhance situational awareness in contested environments. Everybody's just ramping up production now, ramping up military capability, really upscaling the production of the tools that they're going to use in the coming war. So F-35s, drones, ammunition for artillery systems, all going into overdrive. Next, we're looking at the F-15, another tool of war that's going to be used. It's being mentioned more and more in articles over the last months, as it's been such a staple of the US Air Force. The platform is being upgraded and enhanced, and the latest generation is the F-15EX Eagle II. It's an upgraded version of the original F-15, and it's going to serve as both an advancement and a stopgap in the US Air Force's arsenal. As a fourth-generation warplane, it's designed to bridge gaps left by limited numbers of fifth-generation fighters and decommissioned older models. Despite its enhancements that it's getting, though, it's still outclassed by newer aircraft, posing strategic challenges. The F-15EX lacks stealth, range, and next-gen tech, highlighting the Pentagon's attempt to bolster air defences against advancing Chinese and Russian capabilities. With costs and delays plaguing fifth-gen programs like the F-35, the F-15EX fills a void in America's defensive capability. Its limitations against next-gen Chinese and Russian fighters pose risks, suggesting a need for defensive deployment strategies such as those around Taiwan. It's an amazing plane, but it's getting old. It's the platform might be very, very capable, but it's still an old platform, and it might not be able to keep up with the latest stuff that's rolling off the production line in Russia and China. Lastly, the link to this article, I'm not going to read it because it's extremely long, but It's from the Institute for the Study of War, and it goes into a lot of detail about the conflict in a minute. It includes a PDF, so you can download the PDF, take it with you on your mobile if you want, take a glance at it now and then. It's fairly in-depth, like any document produced. If you just look at it with a critical eye and judge for yourself what it's saying and the merits of it against other information that you take in regarding these conflicts. And nonetheless, it does give an insight, and it's well worth reading. All right, so I've been Geordie Prepper. If you got this far, stick in the comments 55, just a random number to put in. And thank you all for watching. Be safe, be prepared, and check your preps.